I see the world very differently. We need to get our girls where 50% is a normality. Like, it should not be that we are celebrating International Women's Day. Every day should be International Women's Day.
Who inspires you?
I think this little 8-year-old Zoya who continues to push me for my growth every single day.
What does your day look like?
One day you could have perfectly clear weather and no issues. The second day could be like what happened to us in 2015. We entered, I think, Pakistan. One of our passengers fell ill and the doctors came back saying that, she only has 2 hours to survive. Air India has always ingrained those values that a human life is above everything, it's paramount. There's 2 times when you kind of will grow. Let's say if you've reached a peak, there has to be a dip down to regain that momentum to go up again. So if you're not afraid of failure, I think just that perspective shift can transform us as individuals. We tell our kids that you're a girl, आप अपने kitchen set से खेलो, and आप लड़के हो तो आप tennis खेलो या cricket खेलो. We cannot have our children as boy or girl. It's a child, and that's it. And let them dream, allow them to dream, because they can, because she can, because dreams do not have a gender.
Hello and welcome to another amazing episode of Because She Can. I'm Divya, your host, and today I'm super excited because I have a very, very special guest with me at the Because She Can studio. Meet Captain Zoya Aggarwal, India's youngest woman pilot to command a Boeing 777, who is also United Nations spokesperson for generation equality. In 2021, Zoya captained an all-woman crew to the inaugural San Francisco to Bengaluru flight, which flew over the North Pole and conquered one of the world's longest non-stop air routes, whether evacuating thousands of stranded Indians as the co-pilot of the first repatriation flight under India's Vande Bharat mission, or saving a passenger's life during a critical situation on a flight bound for New York in 2015. Zoya's unwavering commitment to aviation and her advocacy for gender equality have cemented her legacy as a true pioneer. With not just these, but many more achievements and adventures to uncover, we're thrilled to share the amazing journey of Zoya in the Because She Can podcast today. Such an honor and pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much, Divya, for calling me here, because I think I've been following your work in the edtech space, and I think it's truly inspiring what you're doing for the underprivileged kids, basically filling in the gap between the education to the work, to the point they get hired. I think that's a gift that you're giving to many, many girls out there. So kudos to you.
Oh, amazing. And I would want to talk about the gifts that you are giving. So yeah, tell me what you're doing right now. I know you've just flown in from New York.
Yes.
And I know you're a pilot.
Yes.
Who is working with Air India.
Yes.
How are you doing your MBA? How are you in New York? What's happening? Tell me about this.
You know, the Shah Rukh Khan ka dialogue comes to my mind. अगर आप किसी चीज को पूरे दिल से चाहो तो पूरी कायनात इकट्ठी हो जाती है ना? Something like that, right? So I think that's the ideology I followed all my life. I think whenever you want something and you really want it to work out, God kind of gives you mediums and things happen. I was flying for a long time, and I was at the pinnacle of my profession where I was flying the world's biggest twin jetliner. Really, really grateful and really just humbled by how I achieved all the milestones, that I did achieve in my life. And looking back, I remember the time when I would tell you that I'm going for my pilot training,
Yes.
medical.
And I'd look at you, I was like, pilot banna hai ladki ko.
Yes. And tab se, from that time, the struggle and the point where I would say that I will fly for free,
Right.
I just want that one job. And coming from that point to the high point I reached in my aviation career, I felt that at any point in life, if you're not able to tangibly give back to the position you're in, carry that forward with as much as much enthusiasm, there's something amiss. That means you need to enhance your skill set. And enhancing skill set only means one thing, which is education. And I think both of us are on the same page for that. So I've been very passionate about doing my MBA from the beginning, but of course, the resources, the very fact that how, where, what. But this time, when I was in COVID, I saw so many of my friends, losing their lives. And I just felt that if not now, when next? So I took this step. I said, you have to grow professionally, mentally, and also be able to contribute back as citizens, as professionals. You need that skill, you need further education. So MBA was my next option, my next choice rather. And there I was, and I applied, and God was kind enough to get me into the best business school,
Yes,
one of the best.
and not just Zoya doing her MBA from the Columbia Business School. She is on 100% scholarship.
Yes.
And you are one of the first Indians to have ever got 100% scholarship. Listen, that, I mean, goosebumps. Seriously, like how?
I have no idea, Divya. I think I've always wanted everything from my heart. And that want is so much stronger than anything else. And it comes from a place of gratitude, because what I want to do this for is to be able to tangibly give back to the world that, that has made me what I am, the Captain Zoya that all of the world knows of today. And I think to be able to rightfully be in that position to give back, pay it forward, I need this education. And I think one of those things, then it just kind of happened. I did not know what was the true meaning of having a full scholarship when I went there and I saw all of my batchmates. They were on a 20-year loans. And then I realized how amazing it is to have a full scholarship and not really think about it. So I'm really grateful to be able to get to the point where I have achieved all this. And it actually fuels me with that much more passion to be able to give back to the world, not just in India, but also in New York, where I have a nonprofit as well, where I'm doing in the space of education. So it just kind of fills me with more enthusiasm. Let's go.
No, I love that. You talk about the pinnacle of success, and obviously, I think there are tons and tons of milestones. But there's one that's of course touched all our hearts. First time flying over the North Pole. The longest flight. I think so many of us Indians were so proud to see this happen. So tell me about this experience. Tell me about the emotions.
Oh my God, that was incredible. I think we planned this flight for a very, very long time. We could not make that happen due to multiple reasons. And eventually, when we could make this dream of Prime Minister Modi ji happen, his dream was to connect San Francisco, which is the Silicon Valley, to Bengaluru, which is our Silicon Valley, for a very, very long time. And this was the best choice in terms of the routing, the money that we would save because of the operating expenses, the fuel expenses. And finally, we could get all the clearances, because North Pole is not like a normal flight. It's like a little challenging in terms of the route that you fly over, the clearances that are required, the equipments that are required. So we finally got all of those things sorted, and we were on our way. And it could not have worked out in a better time frame, because we were just kind of, that whole wave of COVID was kind of lifting up. And we all remember that. And I think there was just so much of excitement in the air everywhere that, Air India was going to be flying one of the world's longest flight. And the cherry on the cake was it was an all-women crew.
Wow.
So that was goosebumps.
Wow. How did that feel, like on top of the North Pole? Yeah. Just women. Like,
it's incredible.
How did that happen? I think select that, or what?
So yes, we wanted to kind of send a very empowering message. We at Air India are very fortunate. From the very beginning, I have been in an airline which is equal opportunity employer. Very few airlines back then were like that. There were many airlines, leading airlines in the world, which did not have women as pilots as much as 5 years back, which is incredible, right?
Yeah.
But Air India has always been way, way ahead in terms of empowering their girls.
I love that.
So I think we just wanted to kind of showcase that not just we are fulfilling Prime Minister Modi ji's dream, but we are also carrying the flag of Nari Shakti flying high with it.
But kudos. And God, that just makes me so proud that we actually walk the talk. I mean, I was just reading up that Air India has 15% women pilots as compared to the global rate, which is closer to 5%.
Yes.
So there's actually a place where we are leading.
Absolutely.
And how?
And it's incredible, Divya. In fact, when I joined the airline, there were hardly any girl pilots back then. From there to come to a place where we have 12.4% and coming close to 15% within Air India, it's a milestone, I think, and exemplary, not just for Air India, but to the world.
Right.
That where India is reaching, not just Air India, but India is flying super high in terms of empowering women, So yeah, it's been an incredible journey. And I think I am not just hopeful, but I'm confident that with the whole new policies coming in about empowering further women, I'm sure very soon we'll be seeing this percentage at 50%.
I'm so excited. But tell me a little bit, I mean, and we started with this, but tell me about your journey as a child. Like I still remember at 16, Zoya would be like, I'm going to be a pilot. And tell me about that childhood journey, convincing the parents, the family. What was that like?
Ooh, I think all of us have a journey, right? Like whenever we think about doing something which is not the norm, there are always challenges along the way. And for me, I think my dreams were omnipresent, and they were more kind of relevant in front of my eyes to the extent that I would just wear blinkers and just go all out. So I wanted to basically touch the stars, and that's where my story started from. And I thought maybe if I can fly the airplane, I can possibly touch the stars.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm still trying. I'll get there, inshallah, one day. But
Virgin Atlantic is starting.
Yes, those flights. But still, yeah, touching the stars. Well, I didn't know that much back then. One day, I'm sure we'll be able to figure out a suit that we can wear and touch the star. So I think coming from the point where I was so driven to the extent of just wanting to do anything to get to my goal of becoming a pilot, I think I kind of made my mom cry along the way. Did face a lot of resistance from my family, the society, because at that time nobody would want to do such things. And here I was, wanted to want telescopes and not Barbie dolls, would scandalize my parents. And also, it's from the point of parents. I think they feel that they're doing their best in terms of protecting their child. I was the only child and girl child back in those days. It was different, right? Like, so my parents were coming from the place of protection, whereas I just didn't see anything, and I just continued doing that. And I tried and do everything along the way to kind of help them align with my aspiration. So when we met, with St. Stephen Days and all those things were on the way. I was kind of on the way, and I'm glad, jahan pe, where you have dreams, you always can create a way to get there.
I love that. And I know that you had an exceptional academic career. You have studied under streetlights, but just making sure that, hey, I am so dedicated that I guess everyone had no option but to fall in line.
Yeah. And I think, Divya, it's relevant, right? In terms of if you have, I encourage every single person who ever sees this, every girl I meet, every single person I meet, please dream. The dreams are yours, because if you don't dream, nobody else is going to do it for you. But also put in that work behind those dreams, because if you don't put in that work, nobody else is going to do that also for you. So we have to not just be able to dream for ourselves and want whatever it is that you want. And there is no taboo, there's no's, there are no rights. It's yours. Whatever it is that you want it from all your heart, and then work towards it with all your heart and soul so you can get there.
I like that. You have to put in the work. And about making dreams come true, there is a Dharavi girl that you are currently supporting and making her dreams come true. Tell me about this story. Like, how did this come through?
So, Divya, when all these North Pole and all those things happened to me, I could not understand what was happening to me, because I was thrown into limelight and everything just kept happening. Even my airline thought that it was like a 15-day glory period, when you would get all that media. And then in my case, it just kept rolling and
Right,
rolling.
right.
And it took me a while to understand why is it that out of 2,000 pilots, things kept on happening on my flight. And to me, where
So
I
I mean, well,
was
so it's the longest flight, the Vande Bharat flight. I think there was someone in
youngest,
your 2015
yes, in
flight
the
from.
flight, yeah, which fell sick, and then I was the youngest, and all this. So things kept happening, and I could not put things together. Why was it happening to me? And as time went on, I became more and more passionate about connecting with the kids that were coming to me on social media. I was hardly on social media before that. Overnight, I had people following me and kids writing to me that if you can pursue the path of your dreams, so can we. Like I have no resources, and there's one kid who wrote to me. I don't know how he got my cell phone number. He said that I have epilepsy and I had given up all hope of my life, but seeing your journey that you have pushed through, so
Wow.
that kind of gives me hope towards my life. When you hear these kind of things, it kind of changes you as a person. Then my whole perception kind of became like so many kids are reaching out to me. And I feel like I have been given the blessing of this position, that it's not something that I want to do. It's something that I have to do. It's my responsibility to be
Right.
able to pay it forward, give it back.
Understood.
So with the UN thing, and I was working with UN Women as well, and I saw a lot of girls out there as who kind of needed that support. So I launched Uran Pari, and which is my nonprofit where we train young girls, brilliant girls who are from disadvantaged backgrounds, because there's so many kids you meet, the girls who have dreams, but their dreams are crushed before they even begin.
Okay.
So I want to be able to help those girls who are passionate about aviation but lack the resources. And I think if we have more girls in aviation, the aviation forecast of the industry is we're going to double. The compounded annual growth rate is through the roof, and we need to support that with our girls. And what better if you can support not just their aviation dreams, but also transform their life, their families' lives, the communities' lives, and in a way, change the world. So that's what Uran Pari is doing. And that's where we are supporting Nadrat, because Nadrat is a brilliant kid. Her mother is a cleaner, and she earns 5,000 rupees a month. Unfortunately, she's super brilliant. She cleared the most difficult exam in uh, India's aviation exams. It's called
Wow.
IGRUA, and she didn't have the money. So somebody told her that Captain Zoya can help you out. She has Udan Pari, where she helps out such causes. So she went to Air India's office and stood outside for 5 days. जब तक आप
No
मुझे Captain
way.
Zoya से नहीं
No
मिलवाओगे.
way.
That is incredible, to me.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
fire.
Wow.
Like a girl like that who refuses to budge if she does not meet Captain Zoya is someone who's going to be the next change maker of our country.
I love that.
you know.
Wow.
So I saw little Zoya in her, that fire, because I would also go outside and stand outside airport for infinite number of hours.
Oh
जब तक कोई
God.
pilot नहीं निकलेगा, मैं उससे पूछूंगी कैसे
Yes, sir,
करूं मैं.
buddy. Oh my God, that
So
is
yeah,
that is so heartwarming, and
yeah.
so congratulations.
Thank you.
That is such an inspiring story, and best of luck and our wishes with Nadrat, and can't wait to see how she's going to transform the world.
No, thanks, Divya. I think also we all have to come together as a country. Like for Nadrat, I just kind of got back, and I was in talks with one of our friends, Mr. Rishi Kajaria. I think their slogan is "Desh ki mitti," and I think that's where Bharat ki beti and Desh ki mitti came together.
Yeah, let's get everyone together.
Exactly.
And then let's because she can.
Yeah, because she can. And we need people to come together to support such dreams. Nobody can do anything alone. And support not just her dreams, because for me, Nadrat represents the very Bharat ki beti, which they call me. Any Bharat ki beti with dreams, who is passionate, who is brilliant, and she will be the next change maker. She just needs that little push
I love
and
that.
nudge.
I love that. Say we talk about the highs and the amazing experiences, um, but I'd love to get into the lows. I mean, can you tell me about a time, and of course, being a pilot, it's amazing, but can you tell me about a time when it's been fearful or scary, or, any time when you've been really afraid, and how have you faced that?
Flying, honestly, I was never afraid because flying, it's every situation in life is a challenge, right?
Right.
And this is all about how you kind of overcome that. And we are trained over the years when you fly. We are trained from the very beginning. This is how you're going to actually overcome that situation. Like this happens or that happens. So flying, not challenges, yes, but fearful, no. But I got first time I got fearful, I think, was during my MBA when I went there. And you think you're smart. Well, no. When you are in an Ivy League and you're sitting out there and you're amongst the best of the best
So
in the
this is
world.
Captain Zoya, who is sort of like repatriation. No worries, I'm here. North Pole, I'm here, and I love this.
Yeah. And when you go there, it kind of is very grounding because it makes you realize you don't know anything. When the professor is talking about so many concepts and you don't understand that, all you're doing is Googling, arbitrage, what is that? Excel, what is that? Like, so I think it's been a tremendous learning curve for me, really, really high learning curve. But I'm really glad that I kind of did it. That is the only time I think I have really tangibly felt fear because that is something I was not, the world I was not exposed to, and I had to
Right.
learn everything afresh. It was super fun, super exhilarating. I wouldn't have had it any other way, but I'm a changed person today. I see the world very differently, through my MBA experience. It completely broadens your horizons, makes you understand what is what behind the scenes, what you were just seeing, like I was seeing the airplanes. I understand things running, the numbers running behind the
Absolutely.
scenes. So that's been fun.
No, I love that. And I think growth is behind the pain. So if you face something that scares you and that makes you afraid, ultimately that's what's going to
Absolutely,
lead to the
absolutely.
growth.
In fact, one of the Stanford professors, I even now I remember his lecture, watching it. Says there's two times when you kind of will grow. Let's say if you've reached a peak, there has to be a dip down to regain that momentum to go up again, and
Absolutely.
you can go higher like that. So if you're not afraid of failure, I think if we treat every failure, or rather fear, as a learning opportunity, I think just that perspective shift can transform us as individuals.
Love that. So yeah, being a captain is not easy. Tell me, and just I'm so inquisitive to know this. What does your day look like? Like, what does that entail?
So they're never two same days. It would be different. Let's say even if I was doing like the same flight, 2 different days, they would be completely different
No?
because the weather could be different. Let's say if you're doing Delhi to JFK, one day you could have perfectly clear weather and no issues. The second day could be like what happened to us in 2015, where it was raining, lightning, and we took off from Delhi to JFK. It was full flight. We entered, I think, Pakistan, and one of our passengers fell ill. Just kind of allowed a little bit of time for the doctors to check up on her, and the doctors came back saying that, oh, she only has 2 hours to survive. You better land the airplane. So those are the kind of situations when you're kind of dealt with. It really makes an impact on you because that person is just not a passenger. Air India has always ingrained those values that a human life is above everything, it's paramount. And from that place, that person could be someone's mother, someone's wife, someone's child, And I always feel that we have to do our best because ultimately it's in our hands is that 2 hour deadline and for us to get her there on
Oh
ground.
my God.
And the weather was crazy in Delhi, Divya. I had a couple of choices whether to go to Lahore, but the geopolitical tension was such that,
God, that's so scary. It's like, oh God.
it's for us, it's not scary. It's something that I have to do. Like, it just kind of you're in that responsibility mode all the
Right.
time, right? Like, so, and Air India does a wonderful job of training us. Like, I think in any airline for that matter, we pay a lot of emphasis on training so that when these kind of situations do arise, you're able to rise to that opportunity and kind of save the day. And that's what we did
Oh
that
my
particular
God,
day.
Captain Zoya saves the day.
Oh, no, I didn't. Like, all of us, my team saved the day.
Yes.
I was just one of them. And so we could have gone to Lahore, but we did not because of geopolitical tension. Even if we landed Lahore, which is right there was no guarantee that she would have been saved. But I knew in my motherland, in my country, we have more hold of things and the way things happen. So we decided, I took a 180 degree and decided to go back to Delhi. Weather was really bad, and we were going to New York. So we had an Olympic sized pool of fuel within our
God.
airplane.
Oh God.
Without dumping, which we could not have landed because the weather was really, really bad, and we had a couple of things on our airplane due to which we had to dump that fuel. Dump means like jettison, take out that fuel, make the airplane lighter.
Right.
And I remember I requested, one of my colleagues, let's ask the Pakistan air traffic controller because we were in Pakistan to dump fuel. So they said no, probably they would not. They'll say no. Well, let's ask. And first time we asked, they said no. And then I came on the mic and I was like, sir, if we can do this, it'll help us save a human life. And they were within 2 minutes. He kind of came back and he says, "You're cleared." And thanks to that person, we were able to land back. We could save her life.
Wow.
So I think power of communication is often underestimated, and we take no too easily. So we should definitely keep pushing the boundaries till the time we don't hear a yes.
What a story, Zoya. What a story. I mean, really, so much respect and just such an exciting life this is. And you are so inspiring, but who inspires you?
I think this little 8-year-old Zoya who continues to stay within me, who continues to push me for my growth every single day, even if I'm scared.
God, and of course, you're also on the path to be a spokesperson for generation equality at the UN. So, what is your views on generation equality, and and how is that something that we should be thinking about and taking forward?
I think my views, like I was telling you earlier, we often talk about how amazing it is that India has the highest population, highest percentage of women pilots in aviation, as the whole country wise, if you split the data. But I am just not happy about it because I feel we have reached 12.4%, yes, but there is so much more to do because ultimately we have to realize this 12.4% is in the urban areas, it's not in the rural areas. Our rural India is where 67% of Indian population lives. And until we don't address the education gaps in those areas, we are really not able to push our girls into the maximizing the potential of the country and the world. So holistically we need to tap into the rural areas as well as the urban areas to drive the women empowerment in every sphere, whether that be aviation, whether that be corporates. Like, I just feel there is so much of lack in every which place, right? Even if you go to New York, women are only there in certain fields and the others, they're just not there. Like, even in Italy, like now of course we have Italian prime minister who is a woman, but earlier when I went there, when we were at the Italian parliament and I spoke about my journey over there is so much that has to be done to put the girls in the non-traditional careers.
Absolutely.
Normal is fine, but we need to get our girls where 50% is a normality. Like, it should not be that we are celebrating International Women's Day. There should, every day should be International Women's Day.
We should have 50% of our captains need to be like women.
Absolutely. And 50% everywhere. Like, even in the C suite, there are hardly any women, right? We need to kind of get that whole revolution started. And we need people who are like minded, who can understand where they come from and push for that so that others can possibly come in when they create room for that.
Love that. So exciting. So we have a really cute, fun segment.
Okay.
If not a pilot, what would you be?
Astronaut.
I could have
Didn't take
guessed
much-
this. Okay, I'll give it a write this in a piece
I
of
want to
paper.
touch the stars. You can't blame me. Come on.
Favorite movie?
Top Gun.
I said it.
Such a cliche. Oh my god.
I was like, ये तो बोलेगी.
ये तो कभी अलविदा ना कहना तो नहीं बोलूंगी ना कुछ कभी खुशी कभी गम.
What are you the most proud of?
The fact that God has put me in a place where I have been able to say very openly that I don't take no for an answer.
I love that. And especially from the Pakistan air controllers.
Yes. It's like a living proof, you know.
3 things that every girl should believe in.
Herself.
I love that.
If you don't believe in yourself, you don't believe in any of your dreams, your aspirations, your negative points, your plus points. First, you have to believe in yourself.
Just stick to that. First word that comes to your mind. Life.
Dreams.
Stars.
Touch.
Zoya.
Captain.
India.
Love.
Fun.
Me.
Oh. And finally, I think this is the last question from me, is what does because she can mean for you?
Because she can means that every girl in our country, in this world, should be empowered enough to know that she can be anything she wants to be. And as parents, as our society, as all the stakeholders in that world, we have to ensure that our kids are not treated differently. Like when a child is born, this whole gender disparity is in a way we are causing it. Because we tell our kids that you're a girl, आप अपने किचन सेट से खेलो, and आप लड़के हो तो आप टेनिस खेलो या क्रिकेट खेलो. That bias is set in by the parents, by the very family.
And by the society.
Exactly. And I think we have to understand that we cannot have our children as boy or a girl. It's a child, and that's it. And let them dream, allow them to dream, because they can, because she can, because dreams do not have a gender.
I love that. Thank you so much, Zoya. This has been really a fantastic conversation.